Okay, so continue on your balance sheet as normal. It only becomes different at the bottom in your finance by section. So we started off with premises. We had premises of 292,000 at the start of the year, and then when we got the loan, we got a new premises, and the new premises is actually worth 120 of the loan plus the 30 grand that we put into the business ourselves. So that means we have 292,000 from the start plus the new building that actually costs 150,000. So that gives you 442,000 euro worth of a building. No depreciation on that, so your net book value is still 442,000. Next is equipment. So we had equipment at the start of the year worth 20, and then we added another 15,000 euro on in, was it September? No, July, the 1st of July. So that's 35,000 euro. And we calculated a depreciation of 2,750 euros to take that away, which gives us a net book value of 32,250. And the third fixed asset is our delivery vans. We just had the 30 that we got throughout the year, and we had 1,500 euro depreciation on that, so take it away, which leaves us at 28,500. So you need to total them all up, even though you're not going to carry these first two figures through. So 507,000, double line it, 4,250, double line it, and we have 502,750. Next is our intangible fixed assets. Intangible assets. So in here, that's where you're putting your goodwill. And that is when you spend more money on the business than what the business is actually worth. And in this question, we had 6,250 euro. That's the first thing you calculate when you start the question. And then the third thing is your financial fixed asset. So for this, we have our investments at the start of the year, which is 5% investment of 50,000 euro. Okay, and that's just like a standard question that you would have in your question ones. It's not the investment fund. Remember, we were talking about investment fund in type A, where it was basically like a savings account, but this is different. So this is your investment. It could be any type of investment. That brings us on then to your current assets. So current assets. Before I do that though, I just want to total up my fixed assets. So the 502, the 6,250 and the 50,000, which leaves us with 559,000 euro. That should have been down at 9, but it doesn't really matter too much. Next is your current assets as usual. So we're going to go in first with our stock, and it's splitting these. So it says at the bottom of the question the 20,500 includes heating oil. So I'm splitting it up into standard stock, your stock of purchases, which is 20,200, and I have my stock of heating oil. Stock of heating oil. Of 300. Next I have my debtors. So I'm getting the debtors at the bottom of the question of the 34, stepping it in a line because we have a provision for bad debts, where we set money aside for people that we think won't pay us. So 1,020, which we calculate in our workings. So of the 34,000, 1,020 may not pay us. So we show then that 32,980 we actually will be paid. And then the last thing we have is our rates prepaid, which I labelled in workings, of 1,750 euro. I'm adding all of those up, and that gives us 55,230 euro. The next section is the current liabilities. So I've just popped the first two in there. So the creditors coming from the bottom of the question, which is 35,400, and our bank overdraft of 5,400 euro. So as well as that, we need to put in our loan repayment due. So loan payment, which we split up earlier on. So 12,000 of that loan is due to be paid next year. We also have interest due from our loan interest due of €1,000, and then we have electricity due as well. Electricity due of €460, and that is all of our current liabilities. So I'm adding those up, which is €54,260. So we've got 55,230 coming in within the next year, and we have 54,000 going out. So we just about have enough to cover us, which leaves us with only €970. And I'm going to add that then to my 559,000 that's up there. So that is giving me 970. Okay, and that is my total net assets. Okay, so total net assets. So that is the balance that I am working towards. So when we go on to do the finance by section, I'm not going to have the net profit figure. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I do have the loan, I have my profit and loss on my capital balance at the start of the year, I have my capital introduced, and I have the drawings figure calculated. So the only missing figure is the net profit figure, and I'm going to work backwards using that 559,970 to help me find the net profit figure. Right, so the finance by section is next. I went onto a new page only for the purpose of the video because I knew I wasn't going to have enough room on the page that I was working on. So you don't need to do that. Like, you can continue and then go onto a new page when you need to, but just for the purpose of the video and showing you, it would just be easier for me to swap onto the next page. So finance by section as usual. So fill in any information that you have and we'll work down to find the net profit figure. So first of all, finance by section, the first thing that goes in is your amounts that you need to pay back after 1 year, and in this question it's the loan. Okay, so of the €120,000 that we borrowed, we are paying back 12 next year, so after that then we still are due to pay back €108,000. That's what I did in the working. So remember, we split it. The 12,000 was to be paid in 2009 and the rest was from 2010 onwards. That 108 is to be paid back from 2010 onwards. Next is your capital figure. So capital. So we had capital at the start of the year of €400,000. Capital. The first was €400,000. So that's how much the owner, E. Fuller, actually paid for the business. So he used his own money to buy the business. So that's €400,000. As well as that, he added more capital to the business. So capital introduced throughout the year is €36,000, and that's made up of the 30,000 that he used when he was purchasing the adjoining premises. So point 2, it says he borrowed 120, which together with 30 grand of personal funds, so that's capital introduced, that's your 30,000, that's where that's coming from. And the 6,000 then is the EU grant, okay, so €6,000 EU grant. That was money that was introduced to the business. So that's €36,000. So that's adding up to €436,000, okay. We also had drawings that we know of so far. Drawings of 19,422. Okay, so from that we had drawings, and that then leaves us at 416,578. Okay, now is when our net profit would usually go in. Net profit. Okay, so that would usually go in here as a question mark, and that would give us a figure that would go here, and then this figure and this figure added together would give us our balance, which is 559,970, which is known as our capital employed. So the first thing we're going to do is Usually you have your 108 plus this figure will give you that. So if I'm trying to find out what this figure is, it's going to be my total minus the 108,000. Okay, so that is 451,970 euro. Okay, so then again, I'm trying to find out what the net profit is. So if I know that this figure plus my net profit will give me this, then to find my net profit, it's going to be your 451,970 minus your 416,578. Okay, so put that into your calculator. 451,970 minus your 416,578, and that should give us a net profit of 35,392 euro. Okay, and that is our net profit figure that we are going to use when we're doing our trading profit and loss account to find our sales figure, etc. So we'll work through that, but that's why you have to do your balance sheet first, because you need to find that figure in order to be able to work backwards doing your profit and loss. It's your first time doing the trading profit and loss account, so we're going to use the net profit that we calculated in the balance sheet to work backwards on this. So obviously you need to have a bit of format with it. So you fill out your trading profit and loss just like in the normal way, and then you'll work backwards. So we'll just do it together. So sales is always the first thing that goes in, and we don't know what they are, so you're going to leave it blank. Then we have our less cost of sales section, which is totally normal as well. Okay, so you always start off with your opening stock. This figure we know, so if you look at the top of the question, we have opening stock at the start of the year of 36 grand. Next is plus your purchases. Then you have less your closing stock. Your closing stock is 20,500, but that includes the heating oil, which isn't actually, you got to do with your purchases, so you just put in the stock that's related to purchases, which is your 20,500 minus the 300, which is 20,200. Okay, and you usually take that away. Purchases we don't know, so we have to work backwards to find that. Okay, next then that will give you your cost of sales figure, cost of sales, which will go in here, and then generally it's your sales minus your cost of sales will give you your gross profit. Okay, gross profit, which we also don't know, so you're gonna leave that as blank. So that is the format. They're the only figures you know at the minute. When we go on a bit further, we'll then work backwards. We'll get our gross profit figure and our sales figure and our purchases figure. So that's the difference between this and the last question. So the next figure that goes in is your income. Okay, and the only income that we actually have in this question is our investment income. And that is in the business lodgement section of the question, and it's 2,500 euro. Okay, so that's usually added on, and that will give you a new figure here. Okay, but obviously we can't add it on to nothing, so we're just going to leave that blank as well. Then the next section is our expenses. Okay, so go through your workings and pop in your expenses that you have in there. So we have rates to begin with. And the rates figure is your 4,560. Then we have light and heat, and that is 6,128. We have an increase in provision for bad debts, which is 1,020. We have depreciation of delivery vans and of equipment. Delivery vans is 1,500, and the equipment is 2,750 euro. We then have wages and general expenses, 75,800. Again, these don't. It doesn't matter what order these go in. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're checking through everything. And we have our interest, So as I said when we were doing the workings, that interest can just go in with the rest of your expenses. You don't need to do it separately. It's not as precise, we'll say, as question 1. They don't necessarily need it separately. So that's all of our expenses. So we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 expenses, and add those together just like normal, and that gives us a minus 94,008. Okay, and that then gives us, so usually your gross profit plus your income minus your expenses will give you your net profit figure. So now it's the working backwards begins. So you have your gross profit plus your income minus your expenditure gives you your net profit. We're going to start off by putting in the net profit figure that we calculated in the balance sheet. So we know that the figure we should get is €35,392. You don't have to write figure there. I actually don't know why I wrote that. So that is the first thing that you're going to write. If you want to write 1 beside that, that's the first figure that you're putting in, and I got that from the balance sheet. You don't have to do that. I'm just writing this here just so in case you're looking back and you get confused, you don't know where the figures came from. That's the first thing I put in, right? So usually you would have up here your gross profit plus your investment income. It would be that figure minus that will give you your net profit. So if I'm trying to find this, I'm working backwards. If this is my gross profit, I want after my expenses, I want to know what my gross profit, if that's my net profit after expenses, I want to know what my profit was before those expenses were taken out. So it's your 35,392, add on the 94,008, and that will give you a figure of 129,400. Okay, so that was the second thing I did, and I'm going to label that number 2. Okay, the next thing is, if that was my figure after I had added that in, I want to know what this figure was, my gross profit. So that would be this, take away this, will give me this figure. Okay, so if the gross profit plus that gives me that, then this minus this will give me my gross profit figure. And that will give me a gross profit of €126,900. Okay, so I need to now move this camera up. Sorry, first of all, I'm going to label that as number 3. I'm moving the camera up so you won't be able to see the bottom of the question anymore because the lens won't let me show you, but you know where I'm coming from now. So I'm going to be working from this figure up towards the top of the question. The next part is we need to find out our sales and our purchases. That's the only 2 things that are left. Now we have to go back to the question to find out what we can do next. So it says, if you look underneath the section where you get all the information for your goodwill, it says, during 2008, Fuller did not keep a full set of accounts, but estimates that the gross profit, so the gross profit was 20% of sales. So what that's telling us is that the gross profit figure represents 20% of the sales figure. Okay, so 126,900 is your 20%, and the sales figure is 100%. So what you need to do is, into your calculator, 126,900 divide by 20, multiply by 100, and that will get you your sales figure. So our sales figure, when you put that into your calculator, is €634,500. Okay, so 126,900 divided by 20, multiply by 100. And the reason I'm doing that is because it says in the question, the owner estimates that the gross profit figure is 20% of sales. And obviously that's not a very good method of accounting or bookkeeping, but the topic is incomplete records. So 126,900 represents 20% of sales, so the sales figure is the 100%. Okay, so now I'm labelling that as number 4. Okay, so you can see how I'm working my way up. The next thing I'm going to be able to do is, if I know my sales and I know my gross profit, I should easily be able to find out my cost of sales figure. So that's going to be number 5. Okay, so to get your cost of sale, to get your gross profit, it's your sales less your cost of sales, it gives you your gross profit. So if I have my sales figure and I have my gross profit, I'm trying to find this figure, it's going to be 634,500 minus 126,900, which gives me a cost of sales figure of 507,600. I guess that's the fifth thing that I've done now. So now at this point, I only have one more thing to do. Now I need to be careful with this one because it's my purchases, but I did have drawings with the purchases. Okay, so my purchases figure is going to be something minus my drawings. So my drawings are €80. I'll do it here. €80 per week by 52. So we already did this in our drawings working, and that works out as 4160. Okay, so for whatever figure I get, it's going to be minus 4160. So my purchases figure is going to be, we'll get this one first, okay, because this is what will add up to here. So this is where I'm at, 507. So if I usually have 36,000 plus something minus this will give me this figure. I'm going to work backwards to find what this one is. So 507,600 plus this minus this will give us our purchases figure. So 507,600 plus that minus that will give me this figure, and that should work out at 491,800. Okay, and that is the figure when the purchases have already been, when the drawings have already been taken out. So I'm going to label this one number 6, and this is what I'm going to get as number 7. But you need to show this. I know it might not make sense. You might be like, why are we bothering doing this? But you actually get a mark for showing your drawings. So you need to show it. So if something minus that gives you that figure, again, work backwards. 491,800 plus 4160, which should give you 495,960. Okay, and the reason we're doing that is to get that mark. Okay, and that is number 7. So I'll just give you a quick recap of what we did. The first thing I did was, you can't see now because the camera zoomed out, was put the net profit figure out the bottom. Then I added my expenses back in to get this figure here, the profit before expenses were taken out. Then I had to get my gross profit figure, so I took the investment income away. So 129 minus that. So I was trying to find out what my figure was before I added that in. Okay, so that gave me number 3. Then it said in the question that gross profit is 20% of sales. So if that's 20%, the sales figure is going to be 100%. So 126,900 divided by 20 multiplied by 100 will give me my sales figure of 634,500. Then, if I know my sales figure and I know my gross profit figure, I have the ability now to get my cost of sales. So 634,500 minus 126,900 will give me my cost of sales of 507,600. And this figure, the 507,600, is my opening stock plus my purchase, which I didn't know, minus the closing stock gives me that figure. So work backwards. 507,600 plus that minus the 36 will give me that figure. Now you need to show this as well. That is my purchases less the drawings. We took €80 out a week of purchases for 52 weeks of the year, which is €4,160. So if that figure is after that, we want to find out what our purchase is before, which is 495,960. That's the reason that they're asking for that, is to show that you know that there's a double entry. If you didn't do that, you would only have your single entry shown in the accounts and in your workings. So that's the question. That is it. So you just need to kind of be smart about it and fill in the top as usual. Put in any information that you know, and then work backwards using the figure that you got in your balance sheet.